Hello and welcome to Connect 2021, Building Community and Adapting for Tomorrow, Government Executive Media Group's first ever market preview virtual summit. I'm Constance Sayers, President of Government Executive Media Group. While we aren't gathering at Wolf Trap as in years past, I'm excited that our digital format will be able to reach everyone in the GovCon community across the country. Throughout Connect 2021, you'll experience insights as to what we at Government Executive Media Group are seeing, feeling, and hearing in event, digital, performance, and content marketing across the public sector. You'll have access to lessons learned from 2020, which has been a challenging yet energizing year in so many ways. Additionally, you'll read about and hear a number of fresh ideas to inspire future programs. And we hope you have some fun and take a moment to relax with us at some of our virtual networking events along the way. New to this year, we asked a number of our friends and partners to share their perspective on the GovCon landscape now and in the year to come. We had a number of videos submitted, and we'll share some of these expert takes to kick off each session. How are government market shapers innovating in 2021? Let's hear it from the experts.
We're really getting focused on trying to make connections with our ever busier and busier government customers who are working from home quite often, but also who have been bombarded now with a variety of content, and I think are getting weary of the same old formats. So really trying to find a format that helps us connect, a variety of ways to connect with our customers, and ways to reach new audiences with, I think, more impactful content.
Before you sponsor an event, take a look at the program agenda. Quality content leads to a quality audience. If you're doing video or a podcast, which I think you should, focus on a quality production.
And boy, does this year look different. Starting with the little man behind me, my new coworker, who's doing distance learning in the office right next door. Say hello.
Hi.
This year, in terms of innovating, we are working together side by side and then working with our clients in a very different, more distant manner, but in a way that we have virtual connectedness that we have not had before.
One of the ways for government marketers to be innovative in 2021 is to really zero in on agency-based marketing. That's something we've done for a long time, but I feel like it's really more important now because we're reaching a remote workforce and they want to know what you're going to do to make their jobs easier and make their agency reach their missions, probably more than ever before.
Obviously, we've pivoted to a lot of virtual meetings, and the variety of platforms on which we can engage clients has been greatly expanded.
Much more digital.
Much more digital.
More one-on-one or one-on.
The podcast is really working well. We transitioned that to remote, but it's still sort of that same sort of ability to interact with key government folks.
In terms of innovating in 2021, we're going to be trying a lot of new networking type activities, virtual mixology, virtual meal prep, and virtual racing events with RKM.
We need to explore the digital transformation in a new way beyond traditionally what we have done with webinars and banner ads. It's an opportunity for us to go deeper into digital.
I came to the idea that maybe our tone needed to change in our messaging. So we've always done, here are your challenges and here's how we solve your challenges. Like trying to be very educational about that and make sure that our customers were aware of what our products have to offer. That said, I think in 2021, we're going to shift a little bit more towards we're a team and we're here to help. What can we do together to make sure that citizens get what they need from their government and hospitals are able to serve their patients, etc.
This year, we have pivoted to fully virtual events with top talent to really boost attendance. Also, following those events, we have stepped up our digital pre- and post follow-up using emails and video recordings. App-based gamification experiences where content is pushed out digitally have proven to be successful. Finally, training our sales teams on social and digital engagement and getting their buy-in has been a top focus. Pure is all about innovation, and we will always have virtual and digital as a top priority moving forward.
As I look to 2021, the exciting part of that is that everything that I'm working on will be made to be in a virtual space. So virtual demos, all my content will be digital online. So I'm pretty excited about that.
One of the big things that we've recognized is that hand in glove with Zoom burnout, we're also seeing email burnout, which means we've needed to get more creative with how we're getting content in front of end users and buyers, which means embracing more of a digital strategy and integrating that more fully into our demand generation efforts.
Being new to the government market, it's less about innovation and more about imitation. What is Accenture doing to showcase thought leaders? What is Cisco doing to penetrate the defense market? That's my approach.
Thanks to all our expert market shapers, including Gilbert Gottfried. In all seriousness, this has no doubt been a crazy year, and it's been so refreshing and exciting to hear how our colleagues are adapting and revolutionizing their approach to the public sector market. With more than 2 million monthly uniques, 250 digital events, 60,000 leads delivered, and 400,000 listeners to our podcasts, at Government Executive Media Group, we pride ourselves in being the best go-to-market partner in the public sector, bar none. A huge part of that is having our finger on the pulse of what's next, including how we've seen the traditional marketing mix drastically shift to a digital-only environment. I'm delighted to introduce my partner in crime, Tim Hartman, CEO of Government Executive Media Group. In this session, Tim will share some macro trends and 10 new rules for engaging the right buyers in 2021. Take it away, Tim.
Welcome all to Connect 2021, our first ever virtual version of Market Preview. I wish we could all be together today. This is one of our favorite events where we share the trends that are driving government marketing. But this year's different, and so much has changed. To kick things off, I want to start talking about an event that took place exactly 1 year ago. Let's go back in our time machine. 1 year ago this week, we were convened at the National Cathedral honoring the heroes of government. Dr. Fauci was one of the first inductees to the Hall of Fame, alongside the likes of Colin Powell, Katherine Johnson, and Theodore Roosevelt. This year is a different story. It certainly hasn't been the year we expected. Today, we're gathering virtually. Our friend, Dr. Fauci, has traveled the world to fight pandemics, but this year, he was fighting it in his own backyard. Our worlds were turned upside down. The question on everybody's mind is, when do we return to normal? We will return to normal, but it will look different. Things will evolve. There has been such rapid changes in how we communicate that if you're in marketing and communications, I assure you, it will be very different. The models for marketing and communication have evolved and accelerated in a way that will change marketing forever. I was struck by a quote in a McKinsey article about COVID. It said, "We have vaulted 5 years forward in consumer and business digital adoption in a matter of around 8 weeks. That's how rapidly things are moving. At Government Executive Media Group, we have spent the last 6 months experimenting, pushing the envelope and learning, often hand in hand with you, our clients. Together, we now have a window into the future of marketing and communications. Let me share a few examples of how things have changed. In August, for the first time in U.S. history, the party conventions were held virtually. These are a case study in the future of events. We saw a mix of live meetups, decision-making meetings, pre-recorded sessions, user-generated content, viral video, and pure spectacles. It was a new model for conventions, and we think it heralds a new model for events and engagement. We also saw government hearings with some of the tech industry's biggest CEOs conducted over Zoom. The nature of work has changed. We are now holding meetings virtually that were unthinkable just 6 months ago. And lastly, our personal and professional lives have become completely intertwined. For many of us, every day is now take your kid to work day. But the reality is that our work lives and our personal lives will be mingled in a way we've never seen before, and we expect that to continue. So context is more fluid and fatigue can be a real issue. These are just a few of the massive changes we've seen, and the innovation we're seeing is only the beginning. The current shifts will be similar to the advent of the mobile phone, the launch of search, and even for those of us who remember, the launch of America Online. These changes radically shifted the landscape for communications and marketing. As Steve Jobs said, innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity, not as a threat. At Government Executive Media Group, we watch these changes very carefully. We identify them and use them to build better products that serve your needs. Today, as you begin planning for a new landscape in 2021, we'd like to share our views about how things will change. Here are 3 macro trends that should guide your thinking, with 10 rules for how to engage and succeed in a brand new landscape. Trend number 1, we are in a new attention economy. The entire world went digital virtually overnight. For marketers, this means you must pursue new channels to reach decision makers. It wasn't just marketing that went digital, the entire sales process went virtual. This means there's a massive land grab for attention, which raises the stakes for everybody trying to reach decision makers who have limited time and attention. In prior breakthrough moments, we've seen how this plays out. Whether it was search, mobile, or any of the other major paradigm shifts, this process is the same. First, we see the breakthrough innovation. In this case, it was virtual meetings. Suddenly, nothing in person was happening anymore. Then we see early solutions that look promising and draw users. Think of Zoom or Cisco WebEx or Google's Meet product. Then providers rush to what's working, just like we saw with virtual events. When the market becomes saturated, we quickly reach marketing overload and consumer fatigue. This is the point at which customers make choices. There's only so much time in a day, so they discern who is adding value and who is not. When it seems like everyone is innovating and everyone is winning, it quickly turns into a fight to the finish with winners and losers. If you're not adding value, attention disappears and you're out of the game. If you are adding value through content, through engagement, through expertise, you keep their attention and potentially create a new customer. The crowded digital landscape means that your content must work harder in 2021. It will require marketers to map message to digital platform in really thoughtful ways. There are also higher standards among audiences with digital experiences. Content must be personalized to the individual to resonate and stick. So how can brands achieve their content marketing objectives in the year ahead? New rule: extend the life of your content. Versatility is one of the keys. Marketers should look to develop content that has extended life and multiple applications. You want content that can be used in videos or podcasts or infographics. You want to cut it into smaller bites for digital distribution. These bites can drive promotion. They can serve the user who is just snacking on information. And they can bridge the gap from one touch point to the next. New rule: episodic content allows flexibility. An episodic approach is another important consideration. Brands have pivoted to telling their stories in multiple assets across a series. These are content assets that build from one to the next, which helps a brand's narrative and key messaging points to stick. Remember, even as everything gets turned into more frequent bits of content, it still needs a singular home. Newsletters, content hubs, full-blown microsites can serve this purpose. Platforms like these are critical for driving the ongoing engagement marketers want with each asset, but it can also be vehicles to own important topics in market for an extended period of time. New rule: video is suddenly king. Marketers need to find their digital stage. Virtual events have been a great transition to video, but new content formats and platforms will arise. Whether your goal is to educate prospects or to elevate thought leaders, video production will expand dramatically in 2021. Broadcast panels, filmed roundtable discussions, explainers, and SME interviews are examples of what this will look like. Production quality will be a differentiator for brands as a way to connect with audiences. We will also see more immersive written formats take on life too, where multimedia elements like video are embedded to make for a more experiential and memorable read for audiences. Final point: this is no easy task. Marketers who win, who truly stand out, will turn each SME interaction, virtual event session, and written content into multiple content pieces, and they will understand how to version core content for multiple key segments. And those who do not will blend in with the noise. Trend number 2. Trade shows are on hiatus, but interaction with clients is not. In our world, trade shows are one of the staples of marketing. Every year, it's one of the largest line items for companies marketing to government. But this year, trade shows were disrupted. Some were canceled. Many transitioned to virtual with varying degrees of effectiveness. Many brands struggled to find their footing in the absence of these shows. And some brands are still banking on their return in 2021, if we return to normal. But here's the thing. Trade shows are not something you can rely on in 2021 and potentially longer. The current forecast for a vaccine's broad use takes us into the middle of 2021. It will take time for people to even feel comfortable going to events again. Just to give you a sense of this period of adjustment, Market Connections recently reported that for events that have 500 attendees or more, 1 out of every 5 people say that they are unlikely to ever attend again. So it's time to put your trade show plans on hiatus and think differently about what you need to replace. So what does that look like? New rule: make virtual events work harder. There's been a mad scramble to replace trade shows with digital solutions. Virtual events will be the centerpiece of cultivating and activating communities in 2021. Platforms that enable peer-to-peer interaction will be key. But we can't miss the opportunity to stretch the event and make it work harder for you. Take a year-round approach to engaging these communities. Associations have their market moments at trade shows, but offer year-round forums for their members to interact and share ideas. A similar model can be adopted by brands. Continuous year-round engagement will be a winning formula. New rule: showcase your solutions, SMEs, and products using creative technologies. The winners in this new world will be those who embrace new technologies and formats. Without booths, we now must rethink demos altogether. Will a brand like Lockheed Martin look to VR to showcase its new land vehicle? Will video storytelling, think documentaries or multi-part video series, will they drive product launches? The stage for showcasing products is now virtual, which will call for creativity and fresh thinking with the content brands will create. Don't be afraid to experiment with platforms. New rule: hotel bar conversations go virtual. Let's face it, we all hated the networking receptions. That isn't what you're replacing. The valuable conversations happening at the hotel bar are what is most important. That's where real relationships were built. So let's think about that in a virtual model. We have the opportunity to earn decision makers' attention and engage them multiple times as they familiarize themselves with your brand, learn the features of your products and services, and ultimately engage with sales. This is a supercharged demand gen funnel. It is anchored in digital community building. Use the tools to engage the community, drive them deeper into the funnel, and tee up one-to-one conversations with sales. Never have sales and marketing been more aligned and more measurable. As you look to the future, it's an opportunity to build true brand communities and deliver actionable leads to sales. And with the power of digital marketing, you can recreate the hotel bar discussion with not just one buyer, but many at the same time. Will trade shows ever return to their former state? Probably not. Ultimately, these tools will become integrated into the trade show experience, even if they come back in 2022. So brands who embrace these tactics can establish loyalty with the communities they care about, while others are playing the waiting game. Trend number 3. Events are now less about coffee breaks and more about Netflix. We see a new model for events emerging. The change is like Netflix versus cable. So what does that mean? Let's think about what makes Netflix so sticky. First, Netflix is on demand. All of the content is available to you on demand on whichever device you are using, whenever you want to use it. Second, Netflix has something for everyone. The volume of content on Netflix is truly incredible. They've expanded to original content based on specific searches and use cases from their customers. Lastly, Netflix is synonymous with quality. They're fighting for your attention harder than any other company in the digital world right now. And they're doing it by releasing award-winning programs. We see the events model headed in a similar direction. Consider this. Government audiences have embraced digital events. In 2020, our events have drawn 17,000 virtual attendees, averaging 2 times more attendees per show than last year's events. That's an astounding number. We launched our Virtuoso product in April to help create customizable, unique brand experiences to drive this engagement. The Virtuoso model's success has given us great insight into how to turn a tired event into a Netflix-like on-demand experience. New rule: on-demand viewing is required. The cable model is one we're all too familiar with for events. Pick a date and time, live or digital, and fill the room. But we've learned already this is not how people engage digitally. They are not going to arrive and be captive in great numbers for one entire session, much less half or full day of sessions. The market has responded by making most content on demand and having a level of comfort with the room filling over time. Engagement on the user's terms is okay. In fact, it's a must. What's next for the on-demand model? Empowering on-demand viewing across any device. Think of all the steps Netflix has taken to make viewing easy, regardless of your location or the device you are using. Your event content will need to have the same level of accessibility to yield the deep engagement you're looking for. New rule: expand the volume of content and improve the production quality. In a way, your brand is now competing with Netflix, Hulu, and Disney+. You're competing for attention and for screen time, especially when you consider that event sessions are now on demand and the lines between work and personal time are blurred. Audiences are going to gravitate to brands that offer options in the content they can consume to inform and inspire work. They're going to demand a viewing experience that matches the quality they see on TV and the apps on their phones and tablets. New rule: act on the richer data you receive from your leads. Events have always been a massive driver for lead generation in our market. The shift to virtual is a positive development on this front. You're getting the standard data you're used to: who they are, where they work, what they do, and how to get in contact with them. But now you'll be able to know what content they've consumed and for how long. What topics and solutions are most pertinent to their mission right now? And with visibility into their behavior across all digital platforms, you'll know when their consumption is surging, a classic marker for intent and readiness to buy. New rule: experiment with your platforms and programming models. When thinking about programming, it's important to think with a digital mindset. A direct, simple transfer of your live events plan to a digital event will not work best. Marketers need to shift to a multi-day, shorter event, and also must have the flexibility to cut those virtual event sessions into smaller bites that can be shared more broadly as snippets. As programming takes on a new shape, marketers must also break free of the box many platforms are keeping them in. Every decision maker in government is familiar with Netflix and will expect a similar experience sooner than you'd think. This is the arms race brands are now in, and the stakes couldn't be higher. And it's a personalized, intuitive digital platform that will unlock each of the rules we walked through prior, enabling on-demand viewing, top-of-the-line production, and rich data collection. We have seen this formula work with GovExec Virtuoso this year. We worked very closely with Carahsoft in one example and developed 2 digital events franchises, producing over 30 digital events and yielding nearly 15,000 registrants across the 2 programs. They hosted everything under 2 web domains where they could share additional content, showcase their partners, and create a truly sticky user experience for their government audience. They now have a foundation from which to build for years to come. This is the new playbook, and any brand can put it to use. But you must act fast, as competition for mindshare will be fierce in the year ahead. I'll close with a quote from Netflix CEO Reed Hastings. "Companies rarely die from moving too fast, and they frequently die from moving too slowly." So what does this all mean long term? We've talked a lot about the new rules of engagement in 2021. It amounts to a multitude of things that marketers and leaders need to do and implement to be successful. Frankly, you all already have a ton on your plate. We're in the cycle where everyone is hustling. The activity in our market is truly incredible. But in the long term, I would say this: first movers in a time like this are the brands who truly separate from their competition. We are once again at a seismic shift in how we think and operate. The goal now is to push your organization and your team to stay ahead. So let these new rules of engagement guide you. And trust that our team at Government Executive Media Group is by your side every step of the way. We are here to help you navigate these waters and achieve your goals. It is our honor and our privilege to have that opportunity. We don't take that for granted, and we look forward to another year of collaboration. Our mission is to be the best go-to-market partner in government, and we look forward to supporting you all in 2021 in every single way we can to help you seize this moment.
Thanks, Tim. Next week, events experts, including our GM and leader of events, Anna Pettigen, our new director of events, George Jackson, and our friend from Decision Council, our proprietary partner in the newly launched GovExec Virtuoso platform, CEO Sal Fuentes, will join me to discuss how to build community and sustain engagement in 2021. In the meantime, the Connect 2021 platform is yours to explore. We'll be updating the platform with new resources each week to help you enter 2021 with confidence. And our marketing team will be updating you along the way so you know as soon as new content is available to enjoy. Thank you again for joining us for our Week 1 session, and I look forward to seeing you next week.